Alrighty. And welcome. Welcome you all to Morning Combos with Mother. It's the morning time, so don't expect any flawlessness. I think Beyonce might have lied talking about wake up flawless. This is what you get, the fresh press juice. As you all know, I did like a little Instagram poll on what kind of conversations you would like to see someone have with their mother. This is my mom, Kat. She's visiting me from Tallahassee, Florida. First time in Philly, and we decided to do like a little video for y'all.
You decided. You signed me up for this.
Yeah, I kind of signed her up for it, but yeah. And this is breakfast made by yours truly.
What is it?
Well, this is toast, vegan toast with avocado, tomato, and salt and pepper. It's really good. So here are the topics that some of you all suggested. We're not going to talk about them all, but
How many?
we're going to probably talk about 3. And there's wild cards in here, so they shouldn't take as long. But yeah. Let's get it going. Mom, you can pick. What's your favorite genre of music? So this is a wild card. What's your favorite genre of music?
Oh wow. Honestly, I like everything. I don't necessarily have a favorite.
Well, what gets you out of your seat and those songs that make you say, ow? That.
Oh, maybe some Cameo, Maze, Frankie Beverly and Maze, stuff like that. Yeah, I guess I would say old school.
Old school. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I have an eclectic taste of music, so it's hard for me to say I have a favorite genre, but I like alternative music, alternative rap. It's pretty in right now for me. Alright, moving on to the next topic. Let's see. This is the one that I kind of didn't want to talk about. Childhood traumas. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, childhood traumas.
Okay, so tell me why you didn't want to talk about it.
Because I don't even know if I've properly been able to conceptualize that. Or maybe that I automatically attribute it straight to family, but traumas can come from any place. Now that I think about it, childhood traumas can come from being bullied in school. Also, go see the Joker, teaching not to bully people. Uh, yeah, childhood traumas actually come from everywhere. You can be in the street and something traumatic happens to you as a child and you internalize that. But I feel like since you're a coach and everything and you're on your journey, you're better equipped to talk about the childhood traumas and unearthing them.
Yeah, childhood trauma as well. To be honest, I really did not want to discuss it, but I definitely have experienced my share of childhood trauma and on my road to healing and recovery, which I believe is a lifetime journey. You get better, you heal, you deal with things in a healthier manner once you start unpacking the trauma and the wounds and learning healthier ways of coping and managing the triggers. However, childhood traumas, as my daughter just so eloquently said, they aren't necessarily, they don't have to come from family members. It can happen anywhere. And I know my daughter did experience bullying when she was in school, and it's amazing how deep the trauma can be because even teasing, lighthearted teasing, what I would consider just joking around with Shekinah, it's a trigger for her. For instance, you know, her speech. Sometimes I'll tease her and she can't take it. It really bothers her. And would you explain why?
So sometimes when we're on the phone, like my mom, she'll like mimic my voice. And like it's a trigger for me because, and it's not necessarily like those noises, but it's the way that I speak or enunciate my words. And in middle school, I would be like bullied about like my vernacular, how I talk. Oh, why do you talk white? Why do you sound like that? Where are you from? You speak white. What is speaking white? So even though my mom is not making fun of like how I speak or enunciate, it's still, and it's coming from like a loving place. But for me personally, I hate that with a passion because it reminds me of how I was taunted just for how I spoke. So yeah, that's a little trauma of mine.
Oh my gosh. And also, even though I am not coming from a place of trying to trigger her, I have to understand that it is a trigger and I have to respect that. And what I found on this healing journey is that people mean well, and just because we mean well does not give us the right to impose or for me to continue to um, say or do something to my daughter that is obviously a trigger. It doesn't give me a right. And what I found on my road to healing, um, I've had a lot of people in my life who meant well, and they've imposed their personal views, and they have taken it the wrong way when I've said, hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't do X, Y, and Z. And, their response is, well, I didn't mean any harm. Well, it doesn't matter if you meant any harm or not. I just need for you to respect and understand that this is a trigger for me, and I would appreciate it if you did not do it. And sometimes people have a hard time accepting that, but you have to be vigilant about your healing. And if people don't respect that, then you have to decide how you are going to continue to deal with them. But I am not a counselor, I am a coach. And if you are dealing with childhood trauma, I would recommend that you see a therapist like I started. And also, therapy and a life coach, they work hand in hand. So I am a coach. I help women unpack their shit, refill, and walk it out. And I have a potty mouth, so I am going to respect my daughter because she does not. I curse a lot, and I love it.
Yeah, my mom has no filter, and we make it work.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll be like, Mom, tone it down, but hey.
And I appreciate her saying that. Shekinah and I, we tend to bump heads, and somebody said to me, have you ever considered that you and your daughter have a lot in common? And as I grow, and as I heal, and as I evolve into a better version of myself, I do see how my daughter and I have similar characteristics and personality traits, good and bad.
What's your sign?
I am a Libra.
And I'm a Capricorn, but that's probably besides the point. But yes, childhood traumas.
See a therapist to get a life coach.
That I'm personally working on these. I probably need to do that. All right. Next step. Topic. Health and food. So, as you can see right here, healthy food. This has been a journey of struggle with the health, especially with food, and coming out of undergrad. But realizing post-undergrad or like senior year how important health is. Right. There's a saying that goes, eat your food as medicine, not your medicine as food. And that just really brought everything into perspective for me. I think America and a lot of our relationship with food is not the best. But this is something I'm still like learning and trying to make a lifestyle instead of like the crash dieting and the fads. Um, and I have my own issues that I'm dealing with as a woman that are directly related to eating healthy and getting proper exercise and not stressing. So maybe later on down the road, I'll be more open to expressing it. But yes, health and food is very vital and important. What's your input on that?
Childhood trauma. I used food to help me. I thought it was helping me, but it was actually harming me. But I can see that I had an unhealthy relationship with food, and I was an overeater, binge eater, and I could tie a lot of that to my childhood trauma. Not only childhood, I experienced trauma as a teenager and as an adult. So I could tie a lot of my unhealthy eating to the traumas that I experienced in my lifetime. But, unpacking my shit, uh, unpacking my stuff, and healing, and I am definitely eating better. I am a vegan. I am on a whole foods, plant based lifestyle, and I actually love it. I became a vegetarian um, when I was in my 20s. It was before I had my second child. But I became a vegetarian because I started experiencing migraine headaches. And I studied and researched, and it was like I read an article that said, try removing meat from your diet. And I did, and it definitely helped me with the migraine headaches. But I've gone back and forth between vegetarianism and eating meat, and but I always remember just how great I felt when I didn't consume meat. So I decided to start back on the vegetarian lifestyle again, and it just turned into me just, going the vegan route. And it's challenging because for me, the convenience of being able to just go to any restaurant and get food, um, it's not really like that when you are on the vegan journey. So having to prepare my meals and cook and stuff is, ugh, sometimes I just really don't want to do it. But when your health and wellness is important, emotional, mental, physically, spiritually, all of those things play a big part. So just focusing on one area, yeah, that's okay, but try to focus on everything, the complete self. So, yeah, health and food. Again, I am doing much better than I used to binge eating, overeating, feeling guilty after I consume so much food, feeling like crap. But it's a learning process. Don't beat yourself upside the head. Unpack, get to the root of what could be the cause behind you having an unhealthy relationship with food. And again, focus on your emotional, mental, and physical and spiritual well being. What do you have to say, baby?
Yeah, speaking about like the food thing, like I know personally, like I need to figure out my personal relationship with food because I have a tendency to overeat. I can eat 3 plates. I can probably out eat any man. I know, like when I'm out at outings, people are probably looking at me because I'm like loading and stacking my plate. Then I'll go for another round and another round. And even though like I haven't, increased in size like tremendously, it's still an unhealthy way of dealing with food. So it is something that I do want to look more into because it's not beneficial. It's not healthy for whatever reason. Me eating until I have to feel the fingers and bones and other organs of the animal sticking out of my stomach. I don't think that's a good thing. But yeah, health and food is very important. I'm right now practicing the keto diet, trying to make it a lifestyle. It is different strokes for different folks. Like you have to find out what works for your body, what makes you feel optimal, what makes you feel better. A lot of us are fighting inflammation in the body, which is why like we're all out of whack. A lot of women are hormone sensitive, so me personally, like I'm trying to remove certain products out of my life because I know that my hormone sensitivity is easily triggered. So taking out like certain plastic things, not drinking out of styrofoam cups. Got to be careful if you're a lady that likes to wear makeup because the stuff in the makeup can like jack up your hormones. It's just so much stuff. But that's a conversation to be delved into at another time. But yes, health and food. Take care of yourself. Your body is definitely the motor you need to be taken care of to be your optimal self.
Preach.
All right, so we're either going to do one more or two more, and that'll be the wrap up of morning conversations with mother. She conflict resolutions in relationships. I'm gonna let the adult take the reins.
You are an adult.
I am an adult, but the more seasoned adult.
Okay, so let me say something. It does not matter how old you are. It doesn't mean that you're seasoned. It doesn't mean that you are a pro with dealing with childhood traumas, eating healthy, and all of that stuff.
Right. My mom just put me in check, y'all.
Yes, conflict resolutions and relationships. Do you all realize how many older men and women who do not know how to resolve conflicts in a healthy manner? So there are some young adults who are better equipped at conflict resolutions than older people. And I turned 47 October 14th, and just over the a few years I've learned better conflict resolution. And I must say I think my daughter probably in my opinion has handled conflict resolutions better than I have. So don't think just because mom is 47 that, you know, I got all of my ducks lined up in the row, because that's not true.
All right. Conflict resolutions and relationships. So I think communication is a huge thing, and listening with the intent of understanding versus wanting to speak in rebuttal is also a huge thing that our generation misses the mark with, because we're just so ready to like defend ourselves because we can't be wrong, or like we just need them to see like our way, like, well, you need to listen to me, and then it's just a back and forth. So, and I feel like it becomes so cliche because we're like, oh, communication, and we keep saying it, but at the same time, like, a lot of us still aren't communicating effectively, and that's something that we need to get to the root of. But I know that communication is key. I think also understanding people's coping styles, or how they handle, like, how they operate under pressure. Some people, or a lot of people, can't handle that yak, like talking over them, screaming at them, yelling at them. So figuring out ways to like not blow up. And I feel like this is subjective because people take in things differently from others. Resolutions. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking space or taking a breather to recoup, get your words right before you say something that you regret saying later. It's a lot of ways, but I don't think that my one way or my few ways would be the right way. But I know there have been times where I didn't react in the most positive ways, and then there's been times where I thought before I acted, and it helped. And I think using I statements, I feel this way when you do this, instead of you do this, you do that, like express it from I feel, instead of like in a demeaning, pointing the finger, pointing the blame type of way. I hope that was articulated all right.
You did a great job.
Okay. All right, last combo piece, and we'll probably have another video for you all tomorrow. This is a wild card. What's it like being a mother? Well, Mom, I forgot to tell you that I'm not a mother. She's the mom, and she can tell you what it's like to be a
What
mother.
it's like. Oh, wow. Being a mother. Oh, gosh. Whew. wonderful. It is grueling. It is challenging, and it is one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was blessed with 5 children. Shekinah was my first, so I experimented.
Yeah, I was an experimental child. I feel like every first child is an experiment.
um, I can truly say that if it was not for my children, I don't know if I would be the woman that I am today, and if I would have worked as hard as I've worked to be a better person. Um, Motherhood is not all peaches and cream. It is not all. It's not always joyful. I did not have really good examples of parents, and so I had to learn a lot, and I did. And I think that I I was great in a lot of areas and not so great in a lot more. But motherhood is challenging, and I'm going to say this. I came up believing that husband and babies were what it was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to get married and have children. And listen, get if you are dealing with trauma, if you are dealing with emotional and mental issues, whatever it is, get yourself together as much as you can before you bring children into this world. Because if not, you are going to be responsible for maybe doing and causing some trauma to your child or your children. So get yourself together as much as possible. Again, I have 5 children. They are absolutely amazing. I have words cannot express how grateful I am that the universe or God blessed me with the 5 amazing children that I have, because they have been easy. I guess I did say earlier Shekinah and I bump heads, but I love this young woman. I love her. I'm proud of her. She's absolutely amazing. She's badass. She's owning her life. She's doing her thing. And I am her biggest cheerleader. I'm also the person that probably can aggravate her the most and get up under her skin and make her just like, ah. Um, but motherhood is wonderful, but don't rush into it. Do not. I've told my children they will not get any pressure from me saying, when am I going to have a grandchild? I don't do that. I just want my children healthy and in the best place possible before they bring another human being into this world. So, yes, motherhood is awesome, but I was young. I was 22 when I had my first child and didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing for many years, but motherhood is great, and my children are awesome. And I'm grateful that they are here again, because the work that I do, the woman that I am today, is because I looked at my babies and I knew that they deserved the best that I could give them. And I could only give them the best get by getting healthy and healing and working through my mess and unpacking my shit. So yeah.
Well, you all, I don't know how you all feel about motherhood, but that is definitely something that I toggle with in my mind. I'm not sure. This world is crazy, but I mean, if you're grounded and I have faith in myself. I know I'd be a bomb mom, but at the same time, just factoring in our economy, our society. I think that's something to think about when it comes to bringing in new lives or a life into the world. But yeah, no children for me, so I can't speak on the what does it feel like to be a mother. I'm not even a pet mother, so I have no input. I'm thinking about getting a turtle, but we'll see how that goes. But yes, you all, that was Morning Talks with Mother. I'm Shekinah, and this is,
I am Kat.
and maybe we'll be back with another one tomorrow.